Hi, second grade. How are you today? We are going to draw a cute little turkey. So, what you need is drawing paper, a black crayon, or a black Sharpie. If you have watercolors, that would be great. Otherwise, you could use crayons, which is best, or markers. But I'm going to talk to you about how to use your markers. I'm going to show you a couple different techniques. So, let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we're going to do is I like to start with the eyes. So let's start with two little dots about right there. And around those two very small dots, let's draw circles. Now, you can do this is how I'm going to do it. If you want different kind of eyes, you can. I have one that's a little bit bigger than the other, just because I want a funny turkey. And then let's go ahead and do the pupils, and these can go any way that you want, and color those in. Okay? And I'm going to have one over here too. As I said, this is kind of a silly turkey. There's my two eyes. Now we're going to do his head. So I'm going to start here, kind of make it curved, and then I'm going to come up. And he's rounded like that. Okay? Then there's his beak. And a nice round body. Let's do some feathers here. And then some kind of feet. So there's his feet. His waddle, which is going to come here. And let's say 5 feathers. So there's 1, 2, 3. If you want to do more, you could. And let's draw some very interesting lines here. Okay, so there is our turkey. If you want to add eyebrows, you can. If you want to add eyelashes, you can. I'm going to do just some of these. So it looks like he's got some feathers. This is called texture. And I'm going to add 2 little dots there. So there's your very cute turkey. Okay, now I said that you could use watercolor. So you can do that. When you paint, try very hard to stay in the lines. A crayon is excellent. I always like to outline first. You know what? I might use well, and remember our rules when we color. We go all in one direction and we get rid of all of the white. Okay? So I would do that on all of these, would be the sky blue. If I was going to use markers, once again, I would outline and see how I'm going all in one direction. I'm making large strokes, large thick strokes like that. I've laid my marker down and I am just carefully trying to make long stripes. So I'm using the Crayola Super Tips right now. So if you look at them, the very top, the tip, that's for drawing. But if you kind of lay it on its side like this, that is for making these really nice long strokes. Okay? Now, if I was using my regular markers, let me get this last one done. I have a hard time leaving areas. Okay. So if I was using my regular markers like, wrong drawer. There we go. So if I was using these, it's the same. The point, that is for drawing. And then if you lay it down kind of on its side, you can make these real long strokes like this. It takes practice. But once you get the hang of it, your coloring is much, much better. And then if I want, I can go in there and get rid of my white. Okay. Now, I was going to show you another technique. So just give me a second till I get my supplies. Okay, our next technique is using our our markers as watercolor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to outline and take my time when I outline. Okay. Just going to do that a little bit and take a brush with some water on it. And I'm going to paint inside. Whoops, I forgot to do part of it. Now don't keep going over the same spot. Otherwise you're going to damage your paper. So see, that's another way. I did this with the other markers. I used the light brown and I kind of like that. So let's do some of this over here. I like to do small sections. And then so let's experiment here. So I'm going to do his beak, this orange. And I'm going to just put a little bit of red. And let's see what that. Well, the red's not mingling in there like I was hoping it would. If you have Crayola markers that are not working anymore, if you dip them in water and then color with them, you'll get a watercolor effect again. Now, just see, my marker's not working real well because I'm going over the crayon with it. Now, I do not want to do my face this brown. I'm going to see if I have a lighter one someplace. And the reason is I want my face to really stand out. And if I use, whoops, I missed that spot. Oh well. Now if I use the real dark brown, well, I guess if I'm going to do the watercolor, I can do that. But I kind of like this. So remember, I'm going to just do the outline. I'm having a hard time seeing what I'm doing because I'm not moving my page around like I like to. So I just get that going, just like that. Now don't color in the eyes. Now what I'm noticing with the super tips, you probably need a little bit more water. Just because they don't get as wet. Now this doesn't always work on all paper. I have some paper that this just didn't work real well. So there's some ideas on drawing a turkey in different ways of coloring. And don't forget your background. Okay? Have a great Thanksgiving, guys. Bye.